work in sports, I always want to know, how did your love for sports begin?
That is a fantastic question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how I can pinpoint when the bug bit me, but I always talk about in our house growing up, there was always a black and white picture of my mom's basketball team. And so I grew up knowing that she started as a freshman. She was also part of integrating a predominantly white school. And so she would tell me about some of the struggles that were involved with that. And so I think that always I kind of wanted to make her proud, and I always felt like the bar, she never said that, but I always felt like the bar was going to be starting as a freshman and doing those other things. Although I played softball in high school as well, basketball was my first love. And ironically, one of those things when you've looked at that, something for so long, I did start as a freshman. And one of my most favorite years of all in sports was that freshman year when I was allowed to play on the junior high team and the high school team. I grew up in a small Class B school. And so absolutely loved that year where I was playing basketball 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. And, you know, like you said, you just wanted to make her proud, even though she never said it, but you was trying to follow her footsteps. And that's pretty cool. So as I mentioned earlier, you're a Hall of Famer from your alma mater, with such honors as Player of the Week, OIC Scholar Athlete, OIC and District 9 All-Conference teams, and Northwestern Ranger Queen. What amazing accomplishments. How, with basketball classes, possibly campaigning for Ranger Queen, how were you able to juggle all this and keep your GPA up?
Well, it's one of those things that I absolutely loved college, and some of my friends from the Baptist Student Union, they were my sponsoring group for Ranger Queen. Okay. They talked me into it. And ironically, it's the first time that I learned that other people other people can see some things in yourself that you may not see at the time. Right. I never, ever considered myself Queen material at all. And I wouldn't have had the nerve to do it had some of my friends were like, hey, we'll help you with the posters. We'll help you. We'll back you. You can do this. Everybody knows you, but they didn't know me in that realm. And so I don't know. That was a very eye-opening and life-changing time for me as well. So to be voted in by my peers at a PWI meant a whole lot to me. Yeah. So yeah, but I always saw myself just as, you know, a jock, an athlete, a scholar. I did see those things as me, but a queen, I never saw that.
Well, you're a queen, sister, that's for sure. You are amazing. Just, you know, researching and reading your bio, I was like, wow, she is amazing. And that's why I'm so excited that you're our very first guest. A.D. Rogers, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in Langston in 1998. I believe 9 years after you graduated, or 8 or 9 years, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How was that moment for you to be honored in that way?
You know, no one really prepares you. It's like when you're excited about it, and I was honored. My family was there. But you stay on hard.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to a live edition of the BCSN SportsWrap. That's right, we're back. I'm Bryan Fulford. That's A.D. Drew. After a couple of weeks off, we are blessed and fortunate to be able to come back and kind of do what we love doing, talking about HBCU sports. So, Drew, I've missed you, man. How you been? What's the latest?
Oh, everything's been going good, man. Got a lot going on here today. Here today, so we don't get fined. Number one, and number two, we're gonna be here for a good time, not a long time, because we got an All-Star game we got to go watch.
You just jinxed it. You just jinxed it. All right, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see who goes. We'll see who's the more long-winded in their commentary, me or you, and what holds us over that 8 o'clock window. So I'm gonna hold you to that. You say you want to be out by 8 o'clock. So all right, then that's the goal. All-Star weekend. That's what's happening. And okay, so I got to ask you, Drew, with the All-Star weekend that's happening. Obviously, you had everything going on from the Friday activities on Saturday. You had the HBCU All-Star game, or no, not the All-Star game, the HBCU Classic featuring Grambling and Southern. You had the dunk contest, the skills contest. I saw none of it, obviously, for just saw none of it. And then you have the game on Sunday. Did you catch any of the All-Star stuff on the last 2 days? Have you caught any of it?
I did catch All-Star Saturday, the dunk contest, the 3-point shooting contest, and whatever that was for a skills competition.
Oh, you're not a fan of the skills competition.
But the thing is, they change it every year,
Yeah,
so
they do.
you never know from a fan's point of view what it is. And I like to see is people try to break records, and they who was it? Somebody, Buddy Hield, I believe. Somebody tied Steph Curry's record in the first round in the 3-point shooting contest. But what they don't tell you is they changed the scoring format, so they had 2 extra balls out there for 3 points
Oh,
each.
so wait a minute. It's no longer 5 balls, and the 5th ball is the money ball.
Yeah. Okay. If you remember back to when it came out, when Larry Bird and all
Larry
those
Bird was,
guys
yeah,
there, it was
yeah,
4 orange, 1 money ball
correct,
worth
right,
2 points. The max you
exactly,
could score, was 30 at that point in time.
correct.
Then they changed it to the 4 plus the 1, but you had your money ball rack where you put 5 money balls in one rack, and the shooter got to choose which rack he wanted for his money ball rack,
Oh, okay.
which changed the scoring format, because you could get a max of 34 points. In that instance, you can get 6 off each rack for 24 points, plus the buddy ball rack was worth 10 points each, with 10 points total, 34 points. Now they've added some white Sprite ball, obviously sponsored by Sprite, the sponsor with, and I forgot what they called it, but that ball was from about 28 feet away, 28, 30 feet away, and those were worth 3 points each, and there were only 2. So now you've been a max of 34 points to a max of 40 points.
Wow.
But so when someone's, and this is the first year they used that format, so when someone tied Steph Curry's record for the most points in the first round, well, hell, he had opportunity to earn 6 more points. It's like, it's like the NFL records now. All the records you and I have grown up watching in our lifetime have been based on the 16 game schedule.
Yes.
Now they're playing 17.
Playing 17, yeah.
Right.
So, but then
Before that it was
before us,
14.
it
Before
was
that it
14,
was
right? It was
14.
12.
And then
Yep.
going back to that, it was 12. Just like
Right.
college football, just like your college football records used to be based on the 11 game schedule. The 12th game, the bowl game, did not count on your career stats. Then they started adding the bowl game into your career stats. Then they went to a 12 game season after that, which gave you 13 opportunities. Now you got the playoff system, so some teams have up to 15 games in which to accumulate stats.
At the end of the
It
day,
looks good on paper,
yeah,
but
Well,
when you
you
break
got to.
it
That's where you
down,
have to look at average per game. You know, you got to start looking at average per game, and that's how you're going to really determine what somebody did, because you cannot, like you just pointed out, you can't look. You can no longer look at the total numbers anymore. You have to sort of use the total numbers as a side dish, and then look at your average per game as the total. I don't know why they keep changing the 3-point shootout. You know that I get changing the dunk contest, because how many the dunk contest is what it is. You know, I mean, we see guys dunking all the time. I still think they're scared. I don't know why they're scared. Well, I do know why. They're scared to go to like wild card, like have non-NBA players dunk off against NBA players. You know, and I
insurance.
think they're yeah, well, it may be insurance, but also probably a fear of you losing out to a quote unquote non NBA guy. I'm not gonna call him a scrub, but let's just say you lose out to somebody who's not in the league. You know, and Mac McClung, I think that's his name. He's about as close to not being in the league as there is. You know what I'm saying? That's
He
about as
just got the
close.
lead. He just got the lead 2 days ago.
2 days ago, like right before the All-Star break, he gets in the league. I think the Sixers did that purposely. Once he knew he was going to enter the competition, I think that's why they did that, because somebody in the league office said, "Hey man, we got to have this kid
We
in
need
the
another
league if he's
dunker.
going to be yeah, we can't have him representing the G League 89ers or whatever the minor league team is for the Sixers." So the question is, will he stick around? You know what I'm saying? Will he, I mean, now you start seeing videos of white kids dunking now. That's what'll start filtering on your timeline. Little white kids doing dunks in the house on little Nerf hoops, and now that they got a hero, Mac McClung, so anyway, I don't know why they would want to change the 3-point shooting contest. Until somebody hits every ball on every rack, they can't retire that competition. You know what I'm saying? Once somebody goes perfect, and hell, if Steph Curry didn't go perfect, nobody's going perfect. So, needless to say, that's how that is. Oh, one other thing about the All-Star, did you hear that? I think next year they're going to do away with announcing who the last person or the last person on each team will be.
No.
Because they do apparently that was like kind of one of those funny things to say, okay, of the top 24 players, who's going to be pick number 23 and pick number 24? Because it's like, who
When they
wants to
do the
be picked
All-Star
last?
draft.
Yeah, it's like, who wants to be picked last? Because then you end up on a meme somewhere as, oh, you're the last NBA guy to get picked. But damn, I'm the 23rd, 24th best player in the league. So what's the real issue, right?
Right.
But anyway, I heard that's coming. So enjoy tonight as much as you can, because who knows, something's going to change. I don't know. They still doing the Elam ending in the All-Star game?
I guess we'll find out at 8:00 Eastern.
All right. The best part, by the way, of the All-Star game is the introductions. The introductions that they do of each team, that's the best part up until maybe the Elam ending. Everything else in the middle is garbage, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I'm just.
But Brian, did you actually see the dunks that some of these people did in the contest?
Highlights. I watched. I have not watched the dunk contest since Jordan in '91 or '2, because everything's on highlights now. I know. Vince Carter. Vince Carter was the last one I watched, but I think even that one I watched highlights. Anyway. I'm just saying.
But the kid did when he did the 540. I mean, that was nice.
That was impressive. Like, you could slow that down.
540 double pump, and
yeah. I give him credit. I don't know.
I couldn't even do that on a 7-foot goal.
Yeah. I think the dunking over two people was pretty impressive, because he didn't push off. There was no extra push off on anybody. He just literally went up over, and
vert.
Straight vert. I mean, that kid's got to play, man. You got to let that kid in the league.
At 6'2",
I'm sorry.
Brian,
6'2", hell, as a guard.
He's same height as you are. That's the same height as you are.
I'm 6'1", and I got about a good hundy on him. So I mean,
we ain't gonna talk about the width. We just talked about the height.
Yeah, well, I'm an inch shorter, a hundy bigger, and
Brian,
probably 5 seconds
Brian,
slower.
time out, time out. You know what 6'2" in basketball really is?
Shooting guard.
No. I'm talking about when they list you at 6'2" in basketball.
Yeah,
You
point guard.
really 6 foot and 1/2. Your height is really like 6 foot and 1/2, but they always list you
Round
about
up.
an inch and a half to 2 inches taller in basketball.
Right, right.
So he probably is your height exactly.
Oh well, geez. Well, lucky him. Anyway, he got
Yeah.
touched. He got blessed with a few skills that I don't have.
Al- Allen Iverson was 6'1", and he's the same size as me. So
Yeah, and Allen Iverson always looks shorter, but again, we're talking you're in a league against 6'6" guys. So hey, also of course when we were out for a couple of weeks, the Super Bowl happened. That was really the main reason why we didn't do the show the last time. Drew and his Chiefs won, defeated the Eagles I was rooting for a day. I became an Eagles fan for a day. Didn't work out. But
wrong
they
day.
had a chance. They had a chance.
It was a classic.
Was it really? I need to go back and watch it again if it was a
Yeah,
classic.
it was a
I don't
classic.
think I did my usual. I slept through the third quarter, which was probably the exciting quarter. And when I woke up in the fourth quarter, yeah, that's the pattern. These days I'm old. I get the first half. I watch the halftime show. The drinks have kicked in. I'm a little tired, so I kind of snore through the third quarter. And then my buddies wake me up in the fourth and say, "Yo, wake up! You're snoring too loud." Or it's like, "Hey, wake up! You're missing a good game," or something. So
Yeah.
it is what it
What you
is.
think of the halftime show?
Okay, so I thought she gave a good performance. I was disappointed there wasn't more thrusting and hip gyration, but then again, come to find out she's pregnant, so I get it. Um, I was kind of confused that the NFL would bleep the opening song, "B Better Have My Money," because then you got all the little dancers dancing and thrusting and juking and jiving and whatever stuff that you might cover if you had a 4-year-old kid, you'd have covered their eyes. But you know, I give it a B. It was a solid B plus. I thought the coat was going to turn into an umbrella. Honestly, that's what I thought. And
Umbrella.
yeah, and then the funniest thing I heard on TikTok, listen, that feels weird that I just said that. I don't have TikTok, but I heard somebody play back a review of the performance from TikTok that said it broke down, and it's a breakdown. And basically, in short, Drew, the Rihanna was, and if anybody's heard this, please comment. Okay, this is what I heard. A breakdown was that Rihanna was a vagina. The little white caricatures or white dancers were sperm, and that it was supposed to be a themed performance that along with the songs that she chose, that showcased that she's pregnant. Did that make sense? I will find the full explanation, but apparently there were 3 stages to the performance with the
For the
songs.
three trimesters or something for pregnancy.
Yes, exactly. Yes. It was I don't know if anybody else has heard this, and I don't know if it's true or not, but and listening to it, I either came away thinking that chick has too much time on her hands, or that is the most well thought out and conceived uh, analysis of a performance that I think I've ever heard. I don't know which one it was. Yes, I see. Edwin Moore's like, what? I swear, Edwin. If go look it up. Go look it up. Go search like Rihanna halftime show explained. I haven't looked it up myself, so be careful. But apparently that was an analysis of the show, and I thought that was way deeper than what I was prepared for when I heard it. But I don't know. Kind of interesting. So, what was your take on Rihanna? What would you? You're looking up in the air.
I'm looking up because that was over my head, bro.
Oh, you asked, and I haven't had any. I haven't been able to tell that to anybody. So I just thought I'd
Brian,
tell the world on our show.
Brian, just be happy I don't have the mute button tonight. Because we actually have a producer in house tonight. So be happy I don't have the mute button when you got into that one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I was trying to clean it up. I didn't know if I could say the V word on our show, but hell, it's our show. We can say whatever we want to do. You know, it is a human part, so it's nothing that we can't be scared of it. Ooh, he said vagina. Oh. Anyway, all right. Yeah. There's a sound bite.
Let's move on. Let's change. Let's transition.
You sure you want to transition off of that? Okay.
Transition to something.
Give a shout out to our people on YouTube, Edwin Moore.
This would not be a good time to transition into female sports.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to start there. Mary 305 first in on the chat room on YouTube. Shout out to you guys. C. Lee in the house. David Garner. I'm sure there's a few people. Yes, I agree. Prince's halftime show with Fam is still probably number one greatest halftime show ever performed. And so, yeah, that's that. All right. So
before we go on, I don't know. I saw a comment come in on the YouTube feed about.
I do hear you. So, I see. There's Drew.
I had YouTube's on my screen. Everything just froze up for a second there.
Yeah, it wasn't just you. It was a few of us here. So hopefully, I think we're back on. Yeah, right as Edwin gave a thumbs up to the stream. Thanks, Edwin. We appreciate the jinx. Yeah, but okay. So yeah, we can start with the Tony Duckworth news out of Albany State. I want to kind of pull that up because I know when I saw this was real late last night, and so
it came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah. So okay. So you commented first is where I saw it, and I think you were commenting. I don't know. Were you commenting to his?
Yes, to his tweet.
To his tweet. Okay. So.
Yeah. And I hadn't seen anything official from the university yet because I follow Duckworth on Twitter, and I've known Coach Duckworth for probably 20 years from back when he was a basketball coach.
Yeah, I was trying to see where I had his comments because I came across the HBCU Game Day article. And I wanted to read his comments, sort of in sync with that. So Drew, I will read a little bit comment here from the HBCU Game Day article if you can find your tweet there, with him. But Stephen Gaither had sent out this story on it had been late Friday night, that Tony Duckworth announced on Friday that his time as AD at Albany State ended on February 12th. No official statement had come out from Albany State. Now, Stephen, in his opening paragraph, draws the parallel by starting with roughly a month after making headlines for offering Marcus Stokes being the quarterback recruit, the young white kid who had got caught on video, dropping the M-bomb on a couple songs or a song that he was listening to, and then lost his scholarship to Florida. Then later was offered by West Florida. Then Albany State, like days after Coach Quinn Gray had took the job, And then Quinn Gray had to later apologize. Alabama A&M also offered him, but anyway, he chose to go. He took the offer at West Florida. But anyway, so Stevens' opening paragraph says, roughly a month after making headlines for offering Marcus Stokes, Albany State is looking for a new director of athletics. So yeah, there is part of the statement in here from Duckworth, who says, in part, he says, "I have worked tirelessly in this role." He took over the position on January 2nd, 2020. He says, "I knew this would be the most challenging undertaking of my 27-year career in college athletics. I'm proud of what we accomplished during my 3+ years. While I have had detractors during my tenure, I have also met a number of amazing people. I've enjoyed supporting the student athletes in their training and competition. I would like to acknowledge the coaches and staff for our collective effort in enhancing the student athlete experience." Drew, you have a relationship with Coach Duckworth. There is no word that we've been given that this was related to to this whole recruiting or scholarship offer to the young man, or even Gray's apology. I am aware. I can say that Duckworth was behind and supportive of Quinn Gray offering Duckworth. So, any apology that Gray had to make was purely at the behest of the president of Albany State, who took issue, Marion Ross Frederick, who took exception. Well, let me rephrase that. As pressure, emails, phone calls, things of that nature came into her office, she became aware of the situation, and that's when she objected to the offer. And so we don't know for a fact if Duckworth is another casualty of this, or if there's another move in place. Obviously, Gabe Giardina leaving to go elsewhere. Um, again, I stated previously, Drew, and I'll let you jump in here. I stated previously, when the president made you apologize, and I'm talking when they made Quinn Gray apologize, I said at that time Quinn Gray ought to keep his head on a swivel and be out the door the next chance he gets. Now you see that the athletic director is gone, the same athletic director who hires you. I know Quinn Gray is not going to leave, but again, if I'm Quinn Gray, I'm looking over my shoulder, and I'm real nervous because you had your legs cut up under you in 2 days on the job, 48 hours, with that embarrassing letter that he was probably forced to issue. That's flat out embarrassing. And then now your AD is gone. That's not a good look. It doesn't instill confidence if I'm a new coach at a new school. Your thoughts, Drew?
Oh, I totally agree with you. The optics of it don't look good for Gray, did not look good for the whole situation. But Brian, you have to really, let me back up. I live 45 minutes from Albany, Georgia. It's about 55 minutes from my house to campus. The Albany State has been in a unique position, especially over the last 5 to 7 years, Brian. Now, for those who do not know the history of the current Albany State, this is not your grandfather's Albany State, Brian. The current Albany State is a merger of Darton State College and Albany State University. Albany State being the HBCU, Darton State College being a community college, junior college, whatever you called it in your area, that was a excuse me, a predominantly white college in the same town as Albany State. There's also another college there, Albany Tech, which is a technical school, but it's on the junior college level also. And but Darton State and Albany State were under the same state system in the same town. So the state of Georgia forced these two institutions to merge, the white institution and the black institution. The white 2-year school, the black 4-year school. Now the white 2-year school has some very good programs on that 2-year level. They have some very one that sticks out to me is the nursing program was one of the tops in the state, especially for a 2-year school. So you've had an HBCU, and I'm not making excuses, but I'm just giving facts. You've had an HBCU who was forced a non-HBCU culture and forced to merge and accept a non-HBCU culture because they kept the name Albany State for these two institutions. Mind you, the 4-year HBCU, the 2-year non-HBCU had better facilities than the 4-year HBCU, Brian.
Wow.
The basketball arena was newer and better. And mind you, Albany State, let me back this up. Albany State's campus, compared to most HBCUs, even though Albany State is over 100 years old, founded in 1903, but that campus is fairly new because that campus had to be totally rebuilt after the floods of 1994.
Okay.
So they've got new basketball arena. All 90%, probably 80 to 90% of the buildings there are new, 30 years or less. But even considering that, the 2-year school still had better facilities than the facilities that were just built 30 years ago. And most of our HBCUs do not have that many facilities on their campuses that are 30 years old or less. So you've had a lot of mixing and merging of culture, people, administrations had to be merged together. Some of the coaches who are currently at Albany State came from Darton College. Some of the people in the athletic department came from Darton College and merged into the Albany State system. And obviously, both teams had baseball programs, both teams had soccer programs, both teams had basketball programs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Only one set of coach from the athletic portion, only one set of coaches were able to stay. So, with that, I believe baseball and softball, the Darton coaches stayed. Volleyball, basketball, and they didn't have football. It was the Albany State staff. So there's a lot that goes into this that if you're not down here, you don't quite understand this and the culture. And maybe there was pushback from some of the older alumni. Maybe there wasn't. But, yeah, fact is, they had a white athletic director. Fact is, well, I can say this for a fact, Tony Duckworth didn't see color. The Tony Duckworth that I know didn't see color. He didn't see black, didn't see white. He was about running good programs, good athletic, and doing what he needed to do to help these kids graduate, black, white, whatever. They say I've known Duckworth long before he ever thought about going to an HBCU. I knew Coach Duckworth. So, I just think if that is the reason, I think it's a shame that these things couldn't be figured out and that it had to cost someone their job. Now, if Coach Duckworth had a lead on another job and has the opportunity to go somewhere else, and you got to reside at one place while you're waiting on some stuff to happen in another place, totally different situation, Brian. Totally different situation. Just going over the Duckworth resume while he was at Albany State. First Athletic Hall of Fame induction since 2013. Significant fundraising. Secured Peak Sports Management to solicit corporate sponsorships. Launched the Athletics Golf Classic in 2021 to support athletic scholarships. Raised $90,000 doing those two events. Third-party revenue building, new athletic ticketing, sideline merchandise store. You can find Albany State's merchandise all over their campus now. You were there. You saw the quarterback club when we went to the football game there. So very good atmosphere there in the quarterback club. In addition to leading being the athletic director for the baseball team, softball team, and football team, all making playoff appearances during his short 3-year tenure there. So Godspeed, Coach Duckworth. Godspeed.
Right, and we'll wait to see where if he ends up somewhere else, that might give us an indication.
He will end up somewhere else if he wants to.
Sure. Yeah.
So long as he wants to stay in college athletics, I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. So we'll continue to keep an eye on this and ask some questions because very curious situation there at Albany State. So we'll just something to keep our eyes on and see if there's any other dots that we can connect. And again, it may not be a connecting. These two things may not have anything to do with each other, but very interesting connection. Let's take a break.
Know he was at the Albany State Fort Valley basketball game, which occurred on pull my calendar up, which occurred the Saturday before everything happened.
Okay.
Which is the biggest game. On
Saturday
was the 11th. Well, Saturday 11th, he was at the Albany State Fort Valley basketball game.
Yeah.
At Albany State.
We'll wait to see whether Albany State issues a statement. I think they're owed one. I think one is owed. I should say it like that. And so props to A.D. Duckworth for putting out the statement first. If the university wasn't going to put it out there, if I'm not mistaken, I think Darling Moore will possibly move into the head chair, and I know she's a good one. And on an interim basis, she's a good one. And so Albany State should be very fortunate that you have her, and you better hope you can hold on to her. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's get out of here on a break.
Did she put her name in for FAMU?
Let's take a break, and we will come back more. We are we're the BCSN SportsWrap. We'll be back in just a moment.
Nope, not going in. Not gonna drown today.
Fixing your credit score can be scary, but with Credit Versio, we take the fear out of it.
Okay, you can do this. Be brave. Don't cry again. Hey, this isn't too bad.
Credit Versio helps dispute negative marks on your credit using our state-of-the-art technology that guides you every step of the way. It's never been easier to fix your credit and increase your credit score. Seriously, you can do this. Visit creditversio.com right now to get started.
At CDW, we get speed as the new currency of success.
Our team spends way too much time tending to outdated applications and software when they should be focused on driving application agility and innovation.
CDW Amplify Development Services modernizes software and application development to help accelerate innovation and digital transformation.
So you mean building new applications, UI, and mobile interfaces?
Well, you said you needed to innovate more quickly.
Oh, so he's a listener.
To do more at scale, trust CDW Amplify Development Services.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU League Pass. It's game time. I'm proud and I love my HBCU. HBCU League Pass. Watch your favorite black colleges. Some of the best players in the land. HBCU.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
You're looking for the latest information on Southern University sports, the Southwestern Athletic Conference, and HBCU athletics. There's only one place to go. Tune in to the Carlos Brown Show, exclusively on the Black College Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D here, and we are catching up on a lot of the events that we missed. Obviously, we didn't have a show last weekend due to the Super Bowl, and so this is our opportunity to sort of catch up on the things that maybe we didn't talk about that we would have talked about last weekend, and then things that are going on this past week. So a lot of catch up going on from us. One of the things that I wanted to mention, Drew, that happened during the Super Bowl was the Pro Football Hall of Fame final vote came out, and at the NFL honors, and finally Ken Riley, aka known as the Rattler in Cincinnati, but more important was a FAMU football legend. His playing time under Jay Gaither as a quarterback in the 60s during the golden era of FAMU football. Then he goes on to change over to a defensive back. And all he does is a defensive back, a position he never played before. But obviously being a QB, his understanding of the game from that perspective, I'm sure gave him a sense of awareness that was probably uncommon at that era, at that time. But he went on to record 65 interceptions, which still to this day is one of the top 5 total interceptions in the National Football League record book. And so, sadly, Coach Riley, passed away in 2020. So, he survived by his family and his son, Ken Riley II, who we had the pleasure of talking to on Wednesday on the ONG Strike Zone. But he has been the upfront person. Of course, he played, uh, at FAMU in the early '90s, same time we were there. Not only for his dad, but then also I think he may have played for Coach Joe in his last season there. But a real selfless individual, real quiet, selfless individual. When you think about Ken Riley, there's so much that we still don't know because as we were talking to Ken, you got to think of the timeline and the arc of Ken Riley's career when he left the NFL in 1983, Drew, right? He was, I think, on the coaching staff with the Green Bay Packers as an assistant coach. And he was only there for a short time because then in 1986, I believe, he was called to be the head coach at Florida A&M. So imagine you go from your time at FAMU with Coach Gaither to a 15-year playing career in the NFL to, that short transition as an assistant coach with the Packers. And I don't know if there was other teams. And then all of a sudden, what? You're asked to be the head coach at Florida A&M. And he did that all the way up until
he was promoted to athletic director.
Yeah, and then was promoted to athletic director in the last 7 years during the Joe era. One of our, again, we talk about golden eras. That was that was like our second golden era of FAMU football. Of course, you had Coach Joe, you had Riley as the AD, you had the president, and everything is just
everything.
Think about them for about a 15, 18-year period after that, it was mess. After Riley had stepped down in 2002, it's been a pure mess. We've talked about it before on our show, in this show as well. Yes, Ken Riley was a Rhodes Scholar as well. Somebody from the JS. So there are so many levels to Ken Riley that it's. I told his son Drew. I hope that over the next several months leading up to that weekend in Canton, Ohio, that we get to learn more. I don't care whether it's maybe an article, like there's a great article in the Tallahassee Democrat today by Gerald Thomas. You can go and find that on Tallahassee.com, or if you go to ONG Strike Zone, you can look there. We retweeted it. But, just an outstanding career. And so he's the second Pro Football Hall of Famer from Florida A&M, the first being Bullet Bob Hayes. And I don't think he'll be the last. I got a feeling at some point in time, Nate Newton's name will get called. I got a feeling he's on that short list of guys who will eventually get called. The kitchen. Yeah, he will eventually get called into the Hall of Fame for his time, and he might be the third. I can't think if there's anybody else I might be missing.
Wait, hold on, Brian. Get my timeline straight. Didn't Newton play for Riley? If I have my timeline straight.
No. Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think Newton was at FAMU from 83 to 86. And the only reason I remember that
so they just missed each other.
They just missed each other because he was there for a couple of years and he was a defensive lineman.
He's defensive lineman.
And actually all MEAC player as a defensive lineman. And then they switched him over.
Then he switched over.
Yeah, he switched over to offensive line. And then that's when he got drafted into the NFL as an offensive lineman. And so, he was at the, he was like 3 or 4 years into the league when the Cowboys hit their run in the early 90s. He was already about 4 years into the league.
Right. I just thought they would have done, I thought they did 1 year together, maybe Nate's last year. But like I say, I'm not 100% sure on that timeline.
Right. So I thought that was a real cool. Any other thoughts on Riley, Hall of Fame and all that?
No, it's just when you think back about it, I mean, the only thing we knew at our time at Fairview was Kid Riley as football coach, and then as I migrated out of Fairview, you were still there because you were a couple years behind me. He became athletic director on my way out of FAMU. So yeah, just a tremendous guy. Never really had any big conversations with him, no more than just casual hi hello type things. But always seemed manageable, approachable. Just for what I've known about him from listening to other people talk about, just an all around good guy.
Yeah, yeah, and there again, this is why for all of you, regardless of your schools, um, there's a movement afoot among rattlers that we need to do more with our uh recognizing and almost creating like that that memorial Hall of Fame wing, something that allows the story of the athletic greats to be told. Because I don't think there isn't, I may be wrong, Drew, but I don't think there is a place where you could come in during the week or on a weekend, a home game weekend, and hear the stories or see the plaques or hear there's nothing that memorializes or remembers your the, your greats or the greats of FAMU, and so I would encourage every school to tell your stories now while there's more access to
And,
information. Get the stories out, because our young
and
people,
right,
the young
I
people
was
on
just gonna say
campus.
that. Just don't put that on FAMU.
No, you're right. You're right. I don't want to put it on FAMU. I was just using them as an example. There are a lot of schools that probably need to do more in how they recognize their athletic greats. And the
I'll tell you one of the best I've seen, and of course I'm down in this area, but when you walk into the Jones brother basketball arena at Albany State, and it's named for the Jones brothers after the four NBA players who played at Albany State, who played basketball at Albany State, who were coached by another Jones, their older brother, Oliver Jones. Yeah, Caldwell, Major, Wilbur, and I am forgetting one of the Jones brothers' names. Forgive me, but there were four Jones brothers who all graduated from Albany State who played in the NBA. The most notable of those was Caldwell Jones, who played with the Sixers for so many years. Uh, but they in the basketball arena they have a wall there, and they've got all of their greats from all sports right there as you walk into any basketball game there on their campus. That's probably one of the best displays that I've ever seen with that, Brian.
Yeah, I saw somebody in the chat mention the Eddie Robinson. I guess it's maybe the Eddie Robinson Hall of Fame or the Eddie Robinson Museum there at Grambling. That's one of those places I've got to go visit. I've never been to Grambling, but I'd love to go visit it. Um, and yeah, I mean, there's your campus should have a building like that. You know what I'm saying? I got to
A
believe your
portion of a
campus,
building.
a portion of a building, yeah, whether it's somewhere around the athletic facilities or, I don't know if everybody can quite, do that like what Grambling did, but man, it would be great to have something that recognizes your legends. So that I know that's something that needs to happen at more schools. Speaking of legendary moments, Lavelle Moton of North Carolina Central, while we were gone last weekend, uh, won his 240th game at North Carolina Central, which allowed him to surpass uh, John McClendon. John McClendon had 239 wins. McClendon went on later to coach at Tennessee State, correct?
Correct. And we know John McClendon had many more wins. He had 495 for his career, but 239 of those occurred at Central.
Right. So Moulton is now at the time he had 240, and since that Central has won 2 more games. I think they've won 3 in a row now, so he's at 242, and he is only by the math 9 wins away from reaching Floyd Brown, who Floyd Brown.
7, Brian.
Really?
With the 2, it drops it down to 7. 249 is the number.
No, I'm and I'm gonna tell you where I'm reading this. I'm reading this right from North Carolina Central. This is HBCU Nightly had retweeted this. This is from North Carolina Central. So they say North Carolina Central says that Floyd Brown has 251 wins.
Okay.
So yeah, I know we talked offline earlier.
Doesn't surprise me that there's a discrepancy in the stats, and I'm not putting that on North Carolina Central, but
I got you.
There's a discrepancy between NCAA records and many of school records. You know, we had that debate with Tuskegee was chasing number 700, and according to my research, they already had 700, but the NCAA didn't have them at 700. But that's neither here nor there.
The NCAA takes, so you could have had an ineligible player.
NCAA giveth and the NCAA taketh away.
Exactly, which that all of a sudden, you lose games because of stuff like that.
But hold up, Brian. Speaking of that, and this is just a sidebar. One thing that I've noticed as I've done research about those things, especially when you've had games taken away for whatever, they'll take the game away from the team, but they don't give the win to the other team.
No, they shouldn't. I don't think they should, because you didn't win the game.
Yeah. Right.
The other team lost it, but you didn't technically win.
Right. So and so that's where a lot of these discrepancies come up at, is they took this win away, but that team may go back and put it on their record, but the NCAA doesn't put it into the NCAA record books. So that's where a lot of these discrepancies come up with, is a game here and there that was in question.
Right. So Floyd Brown, well, at the time when we were talking, those who don't, if you don't know North Carolina Central history, and trust me, I mean, we're not diehard, so we had to look it up. He was the head coach there from 1952 to 1970. And well, at the time we thought he had a 249 and 141 record. So anyway, we add 2 wins. I don't know if you take away 2 losses, but whatever. They say North Carolina Central says 251. So we were doing the math. North Carolina Central, who currently on a 3-game winning streak, if they were to win 4 more games and then go into
all they have in the regular season.
Right, that's the final 4 games of the regular season. Then you're talking about the tournament, the MEAC tournament. That's probably 3 games.
That's 3 games.
That would put him at 7. That would put him right at the 249 number we were thinking by the end of the season. Now, that's assuming, North Carolina Central doesn't lose another.
They would have to win the tournament
contest. Yes, and they don't lose another MEAC contest. Coach Moulton would have 249. Which now we know would put him close. But anyway, next year, Lord willing, for Coach Moulton in North Carolina Central, he will become the all-time wins leader at his alma mater, North Carolina Central. So props to Coach Moulton for surpassing a legend and getting a little bit closer to legend status himself. He's already a legend in that community, when you think about all the stuff that he has done and has been recognized for and continues to do in the North Carolina community, he's one of the GOATs. He already is. So props to Coach Moulton. Coming up, we're going to talk to a GOAT on the women's basketball side, because we had the pleasure last weekend of being in attendance as Edward Waters University retired their first, I believe this is the case, Drew, the first jersey retired in any sport, men or women's, and especially men or women's basketball, the first jersey retired, LaQuanza Glover, who's a Jacksonville native, went to Edward Waters University. As we first were, broadcasting and doing, games, we covered Edward Waters, and so we've sort of been watching Miss Glover since the early years, and we continue we go into the gym knowing that she's the one that everybody's going to be having focus on, and we come away like, how did LaQuanza do what she just did? And it was I will read the accolades right before we talk to her, but it was great. It was a true honor, and congratulations to the entire Edward Waters University athletic staff for one, uh, doing it when they did. I mean, she's already an graduate, but she's about to become a master's graduate in May. You know, and so they didn't wait for decades or years. They didn't wait until she left and came back. They gave her they gave her flowers now while she's here. While Coach Charmaine Wilson, who was her coach, is still the coach. Dr. Faison, the president of the university, is there and has done so much for her. VP Rice, she did a great job of kind of putting that thing together. I know Joshua Jackson, who's seen LaQuanza grow in that program. So I mean, a lot of people doing a lot of great things to help LaQuanza Glover, and it watching her every night was a pure joy. And the biggest player on the court, and was not the biggest person in size. You look at her numbers, Drew, and you'd be like, who is this girl who's averaging a double double? You're thinking you're gonna
At
look for somebody
5'8", 5'9".
at 5'8", 5'9", and it's so, again, sometimes you watch and be like, I don't know how she just scored that bucket, but she did. I mean, and so we talk about legends. We've been talking about legends in this segment, and she is a legend, and so we get a chance to talk to her on the other side of the break. So let's do that. Let's take a short break. Come back, LaQuanza Glover on the other side. And it'll be a pleasure talking with her and seeing her again. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. We'll be back in a moment.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. Going around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Charmin Ultra Soft has so much cushiony softness, it's hard for your family to remember. They can use less.
Sweet pillows of softness.
This is soft.
Holy Charmin. Oh, excuse me. Roll it back, everybody.
Sorry.
Charmin Ultra Soft is so cushiony soft, you'll want more, but it's so absorbent, you can use less, so it's always worth it.
Now, what did we learn about using less?
You gotta roll it back, everybody.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D here, and it's a pleasure to be joined by a young lady that Edward Waters, President and CEO, Dr. A. Zachary Faison, calls the ultimate teammate and competitor, LaQuanza Glover, whose number was retired just a week ago and will forever hang in the rafters at Adams Jenkins Complex. LaQuanza, it's a pleasure to have you on tonight. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I thank y'all for having me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor.
Yeah, no, we are big fans of you. Have been ever since we began covering Edward Waters basketball. I want to give the accolades just in case people who don't know LaQuanza Glover, and this is coming from EWU LaQuanza appeared in 125 games over her 5-year career, and some of the superlatives that she earned: the 2017-18 Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Freshman of the Year, 2019 Second Team All GCAC, 2020 First Team All GCAC, 2020 GCAC All Tournament Team, 2021 First Team All GCAC, 21 GCAC All Defensive Team, 21 GCAC All Tournament Team, multiple GCAC Players of the Week honors, and of course, she was the 2021 Black College Sports Network National Women's Basketball Player of the Year. So, when you
Can I
hear
throw
some
something
of
in on
those,
that, Bryan?
oh yeah, if
Hey,
there's anything
Bryan.
I forgot or do you want to add? Yeah.
No, she should have been the 2021 GCAC Player of the Year. I still don't know how
Player
she
of the
lost that
year.
award. Also, yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
Well,
I don't know
we,
either.
we didn't have a vote on that, but
yeah, we're not gonna talk
That's
about. We'll
she
be
got the
crazy.
thankful
important
for
one. She
what
got the
you were.
Player of the Year for us.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be thankful for what we did, what you did receive, and not reflect back. And also, what was the stats, Drew, on the 2020s? I believe in our
Six.
time, how many 2020s do we have LaQuanza down for?
And maybe she can help us out with that. We came up. We think we counted 4. Is that number correct, or are we off?
4. I really don't know. I'll say, I think it's more than 4 though. I can say that. I'll
Yeah,
say between maybe
20
6,
points, 20
I'll
rebounds.
say 6.
There've
I'll
only
say
been
6.
three. There've only been three that we have encountered
3
over the
players.
last 5 years. 3 players, yourself, um,
Dariana
uh,
Lewis from A&M
Ariana Lewis at Alabama A&M, and
and
Amisha
Amisha
Williams.
Williams. It was Holiday.
Yeah, she at Jackson State. And obviously they they stand a little bit taller than you. At the 6 foot. What's always been impressive for me, LaQuanza, is your ability to do what you do at your height. Talk a little bit about playing bigger than your height, and where does that come from? You were a standout in high school. Talk a little bit about that, if you would.
I would say it's all about just heart and wanting it more than my opponent. I already know I'm undersized. Everybody's taller than me, but I feel like it's about who wants it more. And I feel like I play with a chip on my shoulder, and I play like I'm not gonna let you out rebound me. You're not gonna outscore me. And I feel like since I had that mindset, that mentality, that's just how I just go out and do it. I don't really care about a size advantage because most of our opponents, as you see, were taller than me, and I was playing the four. But size doesn't really matter to me. It's all about heart and effort and who wants somewhere. And I've always had that as a player. So that's why size advantage really has never been a problem to me. I just take it for what it is and go out there and ball.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Hey
Go
Brian,
ahead, Drew.
some of her other career stats averaged a double double for her career at 13.6 points and 10.38 rebounds per contest, along with 3.02 assists. Total numbers: 1,726 points, 1,334 rebounds, and count on Brian, 66 career double doubles. 66 of them. So just more on I'm a numbers nerd. That's why these things stick out to somebody like me. And so with all that being said, Kwanzaa, I remember doing your speech that you gave at halftime of the game when you were honored. You kind of let some people in behind the scenes and kind of talk about how tough it was on you coming from being that high school star the standout player in high school to when you first got to EWU and those challenges of fitting in and a career that almost ended before it began. Tell everybody about that.
Right. Well, actually, in high school, I was more so of a role player. So, um, I transitioned. So I started in private school where I was a star, literally averaging like 40 points a game, and then I transitioned to public school my 10th grade year, and I actually got I was able to play alongside with stars. So I was more so of a role player, just playing my role, and you know what I'm saying, do what I need to do as a teammate to help us win. So but I came from a winning program. We won state championship my 11th grade year. That same year we went to Madison Square Garden, we won the national championship. And then my senior year we won again. So coming from a winning program, I just had that, as my coach would say, she called it cocky. But it was more so of, I just had that winning mentality and that's what I was bringing. But me and my coach, we really didn't see eye to eye on certain things. So not seeing eye to eye and then having that attitude. And I can admit I did have a little attitude coming in as a freshman. So it was rough. It was rough. It was a challenge with me and my coach. But once we got past it, it was our relationship was so much better. But it was rough in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I'm curious. Let me ask Drew, because as a coach, we always have those challenges where we're trying to connect with players. Um, and I'm sure there some give and take. Who did more giving? If you had to do the percentage scale with your relationship with Coach Wilson in those early years, who did the more giving? What would you say the scale was in terms of who had to give a little more? Or who was it, 50-50, or was
Um,
it 70-30? Who did the most
I
giving?
I feel like it was even. Like, you get what I'm saying? I feel like it was more of a 50-50. Like, yeah, I can say 50-50. It wasn't one doing more than the other. Like, we was both on the same page. So I wouldn't say I was doing more or she was doing more. I would say that it was about the same amount, both 50-50.
And how did Coach Wilson? Because I know she's very intense, very driven, a successful coach, a winner. Um, how did she connect and motivate you? And that kind of filled filled in with the whole team. How did she specifically connect with you?
It was more so of coaching me differently from everybody else. Just basically seeing where I'm coming from as a player on and off the court, and just having that type of relationship you need between the coach and the player. So I feel like once we came to that mutual agreement, okay, well, you can't say this to Q because she gonna react this way or take it this way, or you know what I'm saying. I can't do this because my coach is going to uh get on me about this, or she may take it the wrong way about this. So I feel like once we had came to a mutual agreement of how to have that player coach relationship on and off the court, I feel like our relationship grew. And it took a parent coach meeting for that to happen, which I'm in college, most of the times you don't really have no parent coach meeting. It's whatever the coach say goes. You kick
Excuse me,
another
your
team, you
scholarship will not
gone.
be renewed next year.
Exactly. Like you might not even finish out the school year, really. So it all just depend basically on the coach. So I'm just really thankful that even although it had to take a parent coach meeting, I'm just glad that it did take place, because if it didn't, I probably would have lost my scholarship.
Go ahead, Drew.
One other thing that a lot of people may not know about you and your situation down there at Edward Waters is this NIL thing. You were
Right.
one of the first, if not the first HBCU female to actually sign an NIL deal when that came around. Kind of walk everybody back through that and how that came about.
Okay, so over the summer, AD Bryan, our former AD, he called me over the summer. I think what is that, 2021? And he was
Yeah.
telling me how, get ready because the opportunity was coming for me pertaining to NIL deal. He didn't really go into details, but he said he got something for me and just be on the lookout, be ready. And so we went from there, and that's when it took place. We had they invited the girls and the boys team in the gym, and then that's when they basically told me, hey, we got this NIL deal for you, from Mr. Jesus, who is the owner of Global Freight and Commerce, and that was the person I got my NIL deal from. So big ups to AD Bryant for, making the way and making the deal and doing whatever he had to do for me to be able to receive the NIL deal from Mr. Jesus. So big shout out to both of them for that opportunity, for sure.
And from a business perspective, because I believe you'll be graduating with a graduate degree in May. Tell us again what your degree will be in.
Business administration.
Okay. So, you have the NIL opportunity and, you're going into business. I mean, talk a little bit about managing your brand at the time and were you excited about that opportunity? Is that something that you and maybe other of your teammates at the time, other college athletes are talking about, thinking about? Give us a little insight into that at the time and how you use that to your advantage.
Um, I mean, it was really more so of a surprise to me. Like it was a conversation that we had talked about during the summer, but I didn't think it would actually like happen. So when it did happen, I was like just shocked because I am the first female student athlete in the state of Florida at a HBCU to receive the NIL deal. So it was really just more so me just being surprised by it because I didn't think it would actually happen. So I really was just surprised, and just being able to get my name out there even more, my brand, everything else, having my face, the cover of somebody's company, it was really a blessing. Plenty of opportunities came from that experience, and I'm just truly grateful for that, for the NIL for sure.
Now being a Jacksonville native, and now being sort of on whenever young people come into the Adams Jenkins complex, they're gonna look up and see that jersey, and they're gonna see your name. What kind of things are you hoping to be able to get involved in whether it be Jacksonville or elsewhere with your degree and your background?
Um, I don't even really know. Um, right now I'm really focused on like going overseas and doing that, and I plan to uh just like basically give back to my community and also my university as well. But just inspire like the younger kids, and show them that they can do it too. Just inspire, go back to certain high schools and like speak to the kids and let them know like everything I did tell them my journey, my experiences. Like, just let them know, like, hey, somebody done did this and you can be next up. So just because I'm the first doesn't mean like I want to be the only one. Like, I want to set the standard and set the goal and let everybody know, like, hey, I did it. I want somebody else to do it too. So that's really what I'm looking for from that.
Okay. So you mentioned playing overseas. So that is a goal to continue pick up the ball again and get back to playing overseas basketball. That's the plan. Yes.
That's the plan.
Okay.
That's the plan. I
Um,
had I had knee surgery back in May, so I had to
okay.
take a year off. So that's why I've been off this whole year because I had to recover. But I just got cleared 2 weeks ago, so now it's time to work.
Okay, got to put in the work and I'm sure we'll see the workout videos and all this stuff. That's another thing. See now it's like you guys have so many tools that you can use to promote yourself now, that you can
Right.
use to kind of get your name out there. Who were your
Right.
inspirations? Who inspired you when you were a young child?
Um, I would just like you like a role model, like somebody I looked up to as far as
Yeah, whether it be in
basketball.
basketball, yeah, maybe in basketball. Who inspired
Oh, it could
you?
be in life.
All right, sure.
Um, I mean, really in life, just my parents, just seeing them be go-getters, just seeing them do what they do on a daily basis. I would say that's my inspiration. It still is to this day. Uh, you all know I lost my father back in 2020, so that's more of an inspiration for me to follow my dreams and chase my goals and do what I need to do for not only myself but for my family because they're counting on me. And one thing about my mom, my brother, my sister, they believe in me. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, what I want to do, anything I tell them, they're going to believe in me 100%. And I'm thankful for my support system. Beyond those three, y'all know Prez and First Lady support me 100% through everything I do. So they're really my inspiration on why I do what I do. Really.
Nice. Drew, got any final thoughts or questions you want to get in there with LaQuanza?
Yeah, she need to tell everybody about that big sneaker collection that I see over there behind her.
Indeed.
You expect to see the trophies and the basketballs and all that stuff that she got in the background, but I mean, I see about 20 plus shoes that just in the frame right there, but I'm pretty sure she's
Six
got more than
rows.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
six
sure
rows.
she's got
That's
more than
about
that.
six
So,
rows up right there by my count. By my count,
exactly.
that's
Hey,
about
I
six or
just said it's
seven
in the
it,
rows
frame.
up there. Yeah.
Tell
it
us about that.
actually go like all the way around. Like, I'm a big
Oh
sneakerhead.
wow.
Like, I blame my brother. Like, he growing up, he was like a sneakerhead, and I was more into like electronics, like video games. Any electronic that came out, I had it. So now it's like I'm more of a sneakerhead now. Like, it's bad. It goes all the way around, but y'all can just see this part. But this really is like my sneaker room and my trophy room. I don't have like I really don't have enough space because I got my jersey that I gotta put up from the ceremony. I got different I got other jerseys that actually gotta be put up that's not in the frame. So I it's a lot of stuff that gotta be done in here really. But I am a sneakerhead. It's bad, like really bad.
How many pair you
My
got?
mom tell me all the time I need how many I
How many
got.
pair?
Ooh,
Yeah, just a rough guess. Just a rough
I,
guess.
I'll say about
Yeah, looking
200
around the room.
plus.
Well, we
200
know where she
plus.
200
spent her
plus.
NIL money at.
200 plus.
Nah,
I don't think I've owned 200
nah.
sneakers in my life.
I've been a sneakerhead before the NIL deal.
Man.
Wow.
What's the pair? What's like your? I'm trying to relate this, as a collector of other things. What's your crown jewel? What's like the pair that maybe you've worn? Like I was checking your kicks out, at the ceremony. Those are fresh. I mean, they're clean, match the outfit. But give us
Yeah.
maybe a shoe or two that give us a good story with a pair or two behind you there on the wall.
Um,
Like how
um,
often have you worn them? What's the length? How many times have you worn them?
Brian, as
so
soon as
I
they crease,
don't,
she retire 'em.
yeah, so I don't really wear my shoes. And if I do, I'm wearing them like one time, put them back in the box, and then I'm going to the next pair unless it match my outfit that I'm putting on. But I don't know my crown jewel. I would say the ones that I wore at my retirement for sure. My off-white fours. I would say those.
Hmm.
That's why I wore them at my retirement. That was a special night, special occasion, so I had to bring out a special pair of shoes. Off-white, retro fours.
How long have you
Now,
had those prior to wearing them?
I had them maybe about 2 years. Never worn them.
wow.
Wow. And
Maybe
so
two,
you
3 years. Never worn them.
so was the outfit coordinated with the shoes? Since you had the shoes way longer, I'm sure. Did you kind of see the shoes and you said, "Okay, I got to find the fit to go with the shoes."
Yeah, I had the shoes, and I was like, I gotta wear something like out, like something that's gonna
Clean.
pop. So I'm like, I got
Something
these
fly.
shoes.
Something fly.
Yeah, I got these shoes. I know nobody gonna have these shoes on because a lot of people don't even own those type of shoes. So I'm like, I gotta find something that's gonna match. And then I ordered something, but then it came in and it didn't pop. It didn't match my shoes. So now I'm like last minute trying to find something. And then I go into this suit store we have here in Jacksonville. And then I got the suit. I found a shoe. It matched up with my shoes perfect. And I got it tailored to my size. And I made it do what it do.
Clean, boy.
Now
That's
I
so
see
clean.
nothing but Nikes there behind you. You got anything besides Nikes? All I see is Nikes and Jordans on the
Jor-
wall right there.
Jordans. I got some Yeezys in front of me. Some Yeezys right
Okay.
here. I got like 5 pair of Yeezys right here on the other side. But all I
Gotcha.
wear is Jordan and Dunks and Yeezys. That's all you'll really see me wear. I might put my foot in maybe some other stuff. Like I'm trying to get into like New Balances for sure. And I got I got a pair of Reeboks in here that I haven't
Somewhere.
worn, but yeah, somewhere
So
in here. But
so let me ask with this love of collecting sneakers, if you had a choice between designing sneakers or designing a shoe versus marketing a shoe, which would you rather do? And I'm trying to help you out here in case you're looking for ideas for your what to do with your master's degree and everything. So
I would probably design my own shoe. I think that
okay,
would be dope. Like design my own shoe and then I can rock it and then people be like, what that is you wearing? You know what I'm saying? And then I can like put somebody else on. Like I can start selling my own shoe. Like just having my own shoe, I think that'd be like real cool to have my own.
I can see it, Drew. The Q3s being worn first by Edward Waters University.
I
The
like that name.
Q3s. Yeah, it's yours. My
Q3s.
gift to you. My gift to you. I don't want any
I like
royalties,
that.
nothing. My gift to
Ex-
you, LaQuanza.
except
Ex- a
except we
pair
gotta have
autograph. A
we gotta
pair
have a
autograph. That's all.
BCSN autograph to the
For
BCSN
sure.
family in there with you from day one, and we only gonna wear them when we come to Edward Waters games. How about that?
For sure.
Q3s
Y'all,
for Edward Waters
all of y'all
University.
get a
So
pair. Y'all get
there
a
you go.
pair. I'ma sign them. And then when y'all come to Elwood Waters, y'all gotta have them on.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Simple.
ma'am.
No, no,
Indeed, indeed.
no.
And I
Actually, you got to give us a pair. We got to buy a pair because I always believe in supporting you. Now the pair that you give me gonna be the ones that stay in the house or display like you got, but I'm gonna wear the ones out that I buy. That's how you got to do
I like
it.
that. I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna hook y'all up with some
Yeah.
with my brand. I'm about to pop out with my brand soon. Quasi Apparel. Y'all be on the lookout. I got y'all.
What okay, what's the idea? What kind of things, what kind of gear are we talking, are we looking at?
I'm probably start off with some shirts, Maybe a sweatsuit. I'm working on a sweatsuit right now. I got the design and everything. I just gotta do the other stuff, like get it put on clothes and stuff. But yeah, Quasi apparel dropping soon. Y'all be on the lookout. Stay tuned.
Quasi Apparel, and then the Q3s coming in 20. I'm gonna predict, Drew, because she got to get
2024,
overseas.
25,
No, 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 no.
I
25.
Hold on.
gotta
Got
get
to give
I
her some
gotta get
time. Got to give her
overseas
some time to
first.
get overseas. I'm gonna go 2026.
Okay.
Q3s in 2026 after she had a couple
2026.
years in the international game and
Okay.
been able to stack some chips, maybe even get some records and get some games under her belt, and then boom, 2026 the Q3s will be coming out. So that's my prediction. My blessing. I'm gonna pray on that,
2026.
and then we
2026.
gonna talk it into existence.
Yes, let's
Definitely.
manifest. Speaking into existence. I like that.
Yes,
Definitely.
indeed.
Definitely.
Q3.
Anybody give your final shout outs to LaQuanza?
Just shout out to my family that's watching. I got my mom, my brother watching, my niece, my nephew. Just shout out to everybody that's watching right now. And I just want to thank y'all for having me tonight on y'all podcast. I really appreciate it.
I see
Well,
First Lady is on
again,
here watching also.
First lady on
yes,
here. I did send it to
Yeah.
yeah,
her. Shout out to First Lady and Prez if
yeah,
y'all
Yeah.
watching.
I'm pretty sure Prez is watching also.
yeah. He catches. He
Well,
catches. If not, he'll
look,
catch the replay. I know he does.
no offense, other HBCU presidents, but HBCU presidents who love sports, y'all got a hard match to follow to catch that brother. That brother is. I've only seen one other person that I could compare to him, Brian, and that was our
Who was
president,
that?
President Humphrey,
Woo.
when it come
Hey,
to
yes.
being that enthused in athletics.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I will agree. I will agree. If there's a he's definitely moving in the right direction and has done a lot of great things for Edward Waters as we have seen over the past few years. So again,
We're gonna have to
Laquanza,
bring
it's
him
been a
on and find out what the sauce is.
yeah, that's a
Yeah,
good,
y'all
you know what?
definitely
I think
gotta have
that's a
my
sit
Prez
down.
on here.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely we gotta. I'd love to have that conversation. I feel like that's a sit down. We gotta be sit down in front. Do the in person sit down with Prez on that one. But I think that could
Yeah.
be real insightful. All right, hey LaQuanza, we thank you for your time. Let people know where they can follow. Give all the plugs so that way people who are watching right now can and who watch on the replay can make sure to follow and support you in your new line that'll be coming out.
Y'all can follow me on Facebook at LaQuanza Glover. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at _L.G.3_. You can follow me on Twitter at Kwanzaa_3. And you can follow my clothing brand at Quasi Apparel on Instagram. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, hey, congratulations again. Much success. We look forward to seeing you back on the floor, and we know you're going to be working hard,
Man, that looked nice.
and yeah, to find your way
I like that.
back into playing again.
I'm
And
not
I
gonna
and I
tell you
know
who made that graphic.
no, don't tell her. Don't pat yourself on the back. Don't pat yourself on the back.
Oh,
Uh,
you made it. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
I do. I do a lot of the graphics for us at BCSN and stuff like that. So
I
yeah, and,
appreciate you.
and
I
I actually
appreciate
took
that.
pleasure in making that one.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Again, hey, it was great to be there to witness it. Congratulations again to you, LaQuanza. Props to everybody at Edward Waters University who made it happen in celebrating one of your legends. And I know you guys are doing a great job over there at Edward Waters, and so it's a pleasure to be there to witness it. So, LaQuanza, much success. Q3s in 2026, ladies and gentlemen. But go
Yes,
remember, go
sir.
follow and support LaQuanza and in the future, and we look forward to seeing you back on the court pretty soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate y'all.
Appreciate
All right,
you.
we're going to take a break, come back, and with a little more basketball talk. You're watching the BCSN Sports Wrap. We'll be back in a moment. From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service with Slow Burn. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge
featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. It's more than a mobile lounge. It's an environment and an experience rich in history, luxury, and personality. An elegant extension of any celebration occasion. It's the perfect escape and meeting place, a space where you can relax or enjoy a shared passion. Have Slow Burn plan your next big event, or before you are planning to celebrate your win over your athletic rival, you can shop our collections at www.slowburnwaco.com.
But if they want to tab, I'ma do the dab, yeah.
This is Bryan Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN SportsWrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN SportsWrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
Welcome back to Earth.
Thanks, it was pretty life-changing.
Dude, it was 8.5 minutes. I didn't even get to finish my burrito.
Technology lets you vacation in space, but to get work done on Earth, you need more than technology. You need CDW.
So with the Cisco hybrid work environment, we can deliver the same network experience to all your offices. Space spaghetti. Securely connecting your team from anywhere.
Houston, we have a solution.
We get it, Greg. You've been to space.
Cisco makes hybrid work possible. CDW makes it powerful.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like.
Okay, hold on.
What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot.
Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
All right, welcome back to the BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan and A.D. here. Just catching up on a lot of things that we missed over the past couple of weeks, and not a lot of time to do it in. A couple of things that have been going on. I'm just kind of going through notes here, Drew, kind of see what have we talked about, what haven't we talked about. The HBCU Classic. I know we had an interview 2 weeks ago with Daryl Wade. And we talked about the Classic. It's happening right now this weekend. And who was it that somebody just put in the comments? Was it Jeremiah Clark? Jeremiah said the Cactus Jack HBCU Baseball Classic in Houston was a success in his opinion. I'd love to hear more, Jeremiah. I'd love for you in the comments to kind of let us know what you've enjoyed about the Classic. I know the last game was a late night game tonight, involving Texas Southern and somebody else. I had it pulled up, Drew, but I think I lost that page here. So anyway, we'll kind of keep an eye out on that. Um, going through some other notes. We haven't talked about softball and baseball a lot. That baseball started this weekend. Softball started last weekend. One interesting note: Stillman College has thrown a no-hitter in 2 different sports. I believe last weekend. No, wait a
Base,
minute. Wait a minute.
it was
Actually, no, because
baseball
they're
was
ahead of
first.
us, aren't they? Yeah,
Baseball
they're
was first. It
actually.
was a combined no hitter in baseball.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say
And
is that
if you,
because and I guess who started this weekend was actually Division I baseball
yes,
started this weekend. Division I softball last weekend, but on the Division II and NAI level, they actually started a week prior to. So they were already playing games, right? And so Stillman had a combined no hitter in baseball, and then the next week, the softball team threw a no hitter.
a combined no hitter in that game also.
Oh, it was a combined hit. Okay, a combined
Yes, it
in
was a combined no hitter.
Okay.
Softball and baseball. And here's the irony part of this, Brian. Both of these were against Oakwood.
Oakwood. Oh, Oakwood. Okay, not Oakland. Oakwood, huh?
Yeah, Oakwood, not Oakland. Oakwood out of
Oakwood
Huntsville,
357.
Alabama. HBCU.
Okay, Huntsville. All right, is this their first season
Yes.
playing baseball and softball?
That would be a good question for our research department. As soon
Okay.
as we hire a
Well,
research department, we'll find out.
we'll put them on that. I will say, in terms of records, in terms of softball, Stillman's softball team is currently 8-1. One of the top record. Now, of course, they've played, I think now about 4 games against Oakwood. But hey, look, wins are wins. You get them when you can, right? Some other significant or interesting numbers here in the first weekend or two of softball. Norfolk State is, I believe, coming into today. Now, this may have changed because I think they played a game today. They're either sitting at 5-1 or 6-1 on the season. Tennessee State and the OVC, they are actually 6-1 with wins over Jackson State, Alcorn, and Alabama A&M. Grambling State is actually 5-4. They had a good run going. They've kind of run into a buzzsaw this weekend in one of those five game what do you call them? Not a shootout, but more of a tournament style where you kind of invite an invitational where they've kind of lost a few games. Hampton is 4-2 out of the Colonial. They're on a 4-game winning streak after losing a couple of games at Mercer. They've kind of got back on a winning streak, winning 4 in a row. Alcorn 4-6. Currently, they had a rough weekend. Maybe that's who I was thinking of when I had somebody. Alcorn is like 0-5 this weekend in that one of those invitationals. So some of the top softball teams in Division I, Tennessee State, Norfolk State, Hampton, Grambling, Alcorn. I was looking at. There's a good Twitter feed that I always see putting out softball rankings, HBCU softball. And from a few days ago, their Division I Week 1 poll. So this was coming out of the first week. Their top 5 was Howard at number 1, Texas Southern at 2, Morgan State at 3, Bethune-Cookman 4, Prairie View at 5. That's on the Division I level. On the Division II/NAIA side, their top 5 consisted of Tuskegee, Edward Waters, Albany State, Xavier, and West Virginia State. Stillman was 10. So those of you who are softball fans, that's a good follow on Twitter at HBCU Softball. And I'll be interested to see kind of if their poll changes, given some of these numbers that we just mentioned. All right, speaking of polls, Drew, let's get into our BCSN top 5, the 7th version of such polls. I know there's been a lot of movement since the last poll we did 2 weeks ago. So are we going to start with the women or the men first? Well, do we have
with the women.
graphics set up for these? We got
Yes.
graphics for these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So our
The graphic
producer.
starts with the women.
Okay.
Go full screen on those, Mr. Producer.
All right. We're showing them all. We're showing them all. So there we go.
Go back to the beginning. Go back to the beginning.
All right.
Women.
So let's
start
see.
with the women, D1.
All right. Well, I think he's got them on a
Back
loop
one.
here. We got to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got
all right.
loop.
Okay, so there we go. All right, so let's get into our top 5 in the women's poll. You see, in the hunt, Alabama State. Now, we in the hunt. If we did a top 10, that's who would be, 6 through 9, 10. That's Alabama State, Howard, Southern, Bethune-Cookman. Okay. Number 5, coming in at number 5 is Alabama A&M. Conference record of 10-4. Interesting enough, Alabama A&M and Alabama State are both tied at second place in the SWAC. The SWAC is look, there's 4 games left in the SWAC regular season, and there
3
is
to
a
4.
lot of okay. 18-game schedule. So anybody that's played 14 games, I would imagine, then you've got 4 left. So
yes.
Between 2 and 8 to 9, there is a lot of things that could happen, to say the least, in the standings. Obviously, Jackson State is kind of setting themselves apart. We'll mention them here in a second. Continuing on, I lost. Okay, so number 4 out of the CAA is North Carolina A&T, who, matter of fact, they just got a win today. I was checking Twitter, so this doesn't reflect that game today. But North Carolina A&T did get a win, so they actually now have 10 wins in conference play. Third is Morgan State, who were formerly number 1. At the time, they were unbeaten until last night. Last night, they lost. I mean, I'm just going to read the opening paragraph from Morgan State, who entered their game against Norfolk State with a 9-game winning streak. As the old adage goes, all good things must come to an end. Unfortunately for Morgan State on this day, that would be the case, as the Spartans handed the Lady Bears their first MEAC loss of the season following a 74-37 thumping inside Eccles Hall.
Say that score again.
74-37. Yeah, 74-37. That's almost.
That is double.
Yeah, it is double. Yeah.
Exactly double.
Where did it go bad? Maybe the second quarter. Norfolk State outscored Morgan 22-5 in the second quarter. I mean, it was a 16-8 first quarter, and then you outscored them 22-5 there. And so, but Morgan is still in first place, though. They're still in first place, but they're no longer first place in our poll. No.
But
Jackson
and the
State.
significant thing about that, Brian,
Mm-hmm.
if these two teams meet in the tournament for the championship, Norfolk has that chip on them where it's like, hey, we kicked the crap out of y'all last time we played y'all. And for Morgan, they have that. Number one, they should have a chip on their shoulder not to come out and have another poor performance like that. But still, it has to be in the back of your mind. They kicked our tails last time we played them. So it's going to be interesting when if those two were to match up again in the tournament, how that particular game is going to play out.
Well, they've split the series, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, Morgan State
Yeah,
had
but
played
when
them
somebody
previously.
doubles you up, though, Brian, that's a different type of loss. No matter what
Sure,
you did
sure.
against them, that's a totally different kind of loss when you get doubled up.
Right, right. Number 2 is Jackson State, running away with the SWAC again, 13-1 record. As maybe my dog there, my dog buddy is barking at something. Maybe he doesn't like the poll. 13-1 record for Jackson State. They still only have that one loss where they got tripped up. I believe it was Prairie View who tripped them up on the road. Since then, they've been beating people by about 30, 40. 20. Look, hey, Drew, your pro tip. Jackson State to cover Monday. Just saying. Jackson State to cover Monday. They've been a winner. It's been a winner the last 3-4 games. I'm just sharing. Sharing is caring. And number 1 is Norfolk State, the Spartans, with their 20th win of the season. They are still in second place in the MEAC standings, but they are number 1 in our poll. So congrats to Norfolk State. It'll be interesting. And there's not much difference there between Norfolk State, Jackson State, and Morgan State. So it'll be interesting to see how things develop in Division 1. Okay, Division 2, which is pretty much coming to the end. You've got the CIAA with their tournament upcoming this upcoming week, beginning on Tuesday. The SIC will be the following week. They have most of the teams are, I think, playing their final game or games this upcoming week. So
Yeah,
it's just about to come to an
Monday and Tuesday.
yeah. So in the hunt in the Division II rankings, Miles, Kentucky State, Winston-Salem State, Clark, Atlanta. Okay. Number 5 is Lincoln, PA, dropping from 3rd place a couple of weeks ago with a 12-4 record. And I think we were talking about this offline. See if I still got it up. Lincoln, PA will actually go into nope. That's the we're on the women. Okay, I got to go back anyway. I'll talk about the CIAA standings here a little bit later. Let me come back to this because I thought I had it pulled up, but that was the men's bracket I had pulled up. Savannah State, 13-5 overall in the conference, 17-6 on the season. Moved up from 5th to 4th. Number 3 is Fayetteville State, moved up from 4th to 3rd. So just a shuffling there from the 3, 4, and 5 teams. West Virginia State with a 16-4 conference record, 21 wins on the season, 4 losses, all in conference. They are the number 2 team. And number 1 by, again, I know we changed the metrics a little bit from a year ago, but I'd be curious to see, Drew, if maybe you can do this if you think about it. Punch in the stats for Jackson State at this time of the year a year ago, and I wonder if Jackson State would have a 99.24 out of a maximum of 100 points on our rankings a year ago. But that's the kind of season that Tuskegee is having, as they are 18-0 with one more conference game before it comes to an end. They have a chance to go unbeaten regular season. Drew, I don't think has that ever happened in Tuskegee or SIC basketball before?
Not to my knowledge, Brian. I don't think I remember a team going and or men or women.
Okay. All right. Let's go over to the NAIA. On the NAIA side, in the hunt, Arkansas Baptist, Wiley College, Langston University, Stillman. Those are the teams that would be kind of 6, 7, 8, 9 if there was a top 10. Xavier has jumped up from the outside of the top 5 into the top 5, currently sitting at 17-10 overall, 11-7 in conference. That conference being the Red River Conference. Number 4, Fisk. Fisk staying put with 11-3 record in the GCAC, 17-7 overall. Number 3, staying put, Philander Smith. They are 11-3 as well with a 21-5 record, having pushed themselves over the 20-win mark this year. Dropping from number 1 to number 2 is Rust College. The Lady Bearcats actually lost a game by 2 points to Fisk. I believe it was last weekend, on last Sunday, matter of fact. And so, I think that might have opened the door for the new number 1, which is Florida Memorial. They are 15-1 right now in the Sun Conference, 21-5 overall. They are the top dogs. They actually, I think that is a 15-game win streak too. I think they lost their first game in conference play and have not looked back since, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. And Florida Memorial is the number 1 seed and the host for the Sun Conference tournament, which begins on Tuesday, but they will not be playing until next Friday and Saturday down there in Miami.
Right. Let me mention here the CIAA, which is starting on Tuesday. We mentioned some of the teams in our poll. Fayetteville State. Let me go back here. Fayetteville State is actually the number 3 ranked team. They are the overall number 1 seed they're the defending champs. They will play their first game on the 22nd, which is Wednesday at 2:20 p.m. against the winner of Johnson C. Smith and Virginia Union. They are the 8 and 9 teams. Bowie State. No, let me check that back. Lincoln, PA is the 2 seed. They, of course, are our 5th ranked team. They too will play on Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. against the winner of Virginia State and Livingstone. So those are the only 2 teams out of the CIAA. Just in case you wonder, the 3 seed in the CIAA tournament is Winston-Salem State. The 4 seed is Bowie State. Okay. All right. Let's jump over to the men. On the men Division I side, number in the hunt, rather, you got North Carolina Central. They've won kind of 3 games in a row. Tennessee State had a good run going there until they lost a pair of games, these last couple that they played. And then there's Southern, who the month of February has been bad. I mean, the Mardi Gras season has not been good to Southern, as they have lost 4 or 5 since the month started. They were once in first place in the SWAC, and now they have fallen down to 3rd. And more importantly, a former number 1 team in our poll that's out of the hunt, or in the hunt, I guess, not out of the hunt, in the hunt. if they weren't in the hunt, they were out of the hunt, right, Drew? I guess is that how that works?
Correct.
All right. So
yes.
Number 5 is former number
in
1
the pack.
from 2
We call them in the pack.
In the pack, right. From 2 weeks ago, Maryland Eastern Shore was the number 1 team in the poll. They've fallen all the way down to 5 after a pair of losses. Number 4, Alcorn State. Alcorn has won 6 games in a row, and they are now in first place in the SWAC with a 12-2 conference record. Also, Alcorn has a 6-game home winning streak as well. Grambling, big win on Saturday in the HBCU All-Star game against Southern. They are number 2 in the SWAC. Grambling was 4 last week. Howard University coming in number 2, 9-1 record, first place in the MEAC, but unfortunately the numbers don't shade their way. They are number 2 overall. Now, yes, Howard has a 9-game winning streak, which is like the 5th longest streak in the nation right now. They also have a 7-game home winning streak, but that won't help them out over the next 3 games as they go on the road for the next 3 games. Obviously, about 4 games left in the conference schedule. 3 of them are on the road here beginning on Monday. So we'll see, can Howard finish off the deal and possibly win? And of course, Drew, that sets up
the big end of the regular season showdown between Norfolk State, who right now is our number 1 team. Norfolk State has a 6-game winning streak. And so that just, we'll see what the next 3 games hold for Norfolk State and Howard. But circle, I think it's March 3rd or March 4th is that last game.
Yeah.
All right.
What you failed to mention, Brian, is
Mhm.
Howard was the team that broke Norfolk State's home winning streak. I don't remember what the number was for Norfolk State
19.
at home. It was 19. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it was 19. And so, yes, and all that Norfolk State has done since then is just gone on winning. They got back to winning. So, I mean, just outstanding basketball in the MEAC and the upper level of the SWAC. So, also in the SWAC, the standings are so combobulated between from what we talk about 6 to 9. Everybody is tied at 6 and 8 right now. From 6 to 9, everybody's 6 and 8. And then there's like 2 teams that are a game or 2 from
Number 10 is a game back, and number 11 was a game back of number 10. If I remember
so
right.
it four
Number
regular
11
season
is 2
games
games
left.
out.
Yes, that's Florida A&M, by the way, just in case you wondered.
Yes.
So we're not saying the season's over, but there's a slight possibility there's any chance that they could actually make a run. All right, let's jump to D2. We got to move quick here, Drew. And now with Division II, obviously this is part of the CIAA tournament taking place. You've also got region rankings taking place now. This is a little different than what you gave me earlier, Drew. So I don't know. Maybe we did some recalculations.
Yeah. When
Okay.
I gave you the numbers earlier, I realized that I had not calculated the CIAA in the whole matrix. I had just skipped over the whole conference when I was updating.
Okay. So in the hunt, you've got West Virginia State, Lincoln, Missouri, Virginia State, who is actually a region-ranked team in the Atlantic. Okay, that's important. We don't know the seeding yet, but they are considered one of the upper-level teams in the Atlantic Division.
Top 10.
You got Fayetteville.
On top 10
top
ranked 10. At this point in time.
Fayetteville State and then Lemoyne Owen. Okay, so number 5 is Benedict. As Benedict 15-5, first place. I had a chance to call that game last night or yesterday afternoon against Morehouse. They are in first place for now. That's all I'll say.
And somebody mentioned, and somebody put in the chat early in our conversation today about that incident. We have no confirmation one way or the other about that, so we're just going to let that play out.
Yeah, that's why I said they're in first place for now. Okay, number 4 is Claflin, who formerly was the number 2 team. Tuskegee comes in from out of the hunt, and they are on the number 3 line. They're actually ranked in the region, in the South region. The only team in our top 5 that is ranked in the region. Number 2, Miles, 20 wins on the year, but Miles ranked number 3 a couple weeks ago in our poll, and number 2. Now Virginia Union sitting atop not only our poll, but sitting as the number 1 seed going into the CIAA tournament this weekend. I'm not going to say it's
ranked.
Regionally ranked, yeah. It's not their tournament to lose, but they will be a favorite. Virginia Union will be a favorite to win the CIAA.
Okay.
All right, let's quickly turn
one other thing, Brian. Tuskegee and Miles are tied atop of the SIAC West, and Tuskegee owns the tiebreaker over Miles based on their 2-0 sweep of Miles during the season.
Okay. Jumping over to the NAIA. Our last top 5 here in the hunt. You've got Xavier, Paul Quinn, and Wiley College. Coming in at number 5 is Dillard University in the GCAC, 9-5 conference record. Number 4, Philander Smith, 10-4 conference record, 20 wins on the year. Arkansas Baptist, conference escapes me right now, but 14-5 record.
They're independent.
Independent.
Okay. Number two,
CAA.
Langston University. Congratulations to Coach Chris Wright and Langston, who won the Sooner Athletic Conference regular season title in his first year. I'm telling you, all the man does after coming off of a national runner-up a year ago with Talladega, gets to Langston, turned the program around, and now they're doing what they do. Great coach, great coach. Program builder. That's all I'm gonna say. Langston 26-2, and then the number one team is also a conference champion, regular season conference champion. The Tougaloo Bulldogs, unbeaten in the GCAC, 14-0, 26-1. GCAC tournament, I believe, is starting this weekend or this upcoming week. This week, actually.
Thursday.
So
Thursday.
Starts Thursday. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do. Okay, Drew. Final thoughts. Give your final thoughts so we can get out of here and go catch this All-Star game.
Just quickly going back over the polls, Brian. We have ever had, since we've been doing these polls, a team go and O on both sides of the ledger as Tougaloo can do, or I believe they have done, and Tuskegee is one game from going and O on the women's side. Have we had that happen with two and O teams, Brian?
Not that I recall.
I can't recall. Yeah, because last year Jackson State was and O on the women's side, but I don't think we had a men's team who was undefeated in their conference. So just shout out to the great levels of basketball. Lawrence says, check that. Jeremiah Clark says that the baseball classic has shown me that the interest is there. We have to market HBCU baseball better. The Astros are just different in their marketing efforts to minorities and baseball. So,
different good or different bad? I don't know. What is he saying? Different good or different?
The Astros are different. I'm assuming that means different as in good because the Astros stepped out into this. We've only had a couple of. You've got the Andre Dawson Classic, but
that's matter of fact, that's next weekend.
Correct,
next weekend.
but that's an MLB thing. The Atlanta Braves have stepped into HBCU baseball with the classic that they do. The name of the classic escapes me, but that occurs at Macon.
Gar Lucas.
Yeah,
HBCU.
And that occurs in Macon, Georgia, at their minor league park that they have there at Macon, Georgia. But outside of a team here and there aren't a whole lot of MLB teams who are diving deep into it. Now, the Cincinnati Reds have sponsored the was it Wilberforce or was it Central State? Central State, who just got back into baseball, so they were sponsored by the Cincinnati Reds. I believe MLB helped Xavier get rolling. We know Florida Memorial and the Miami Marlins have a relationship, but there are not a whole lot of teams who have had a direct relationship either with a school or with HBCU baseball. So shout out to the Houston Astros for wanting, and Darrell Wade for wanting to put on this classic. And let's not forget, he did a small school classic before he did this Cactus Jack Classic. So this is the second one that the Astros have done this year. So if anybody has shown that they are committed to it, the Houston Astros have they didn't just stick their toe in the water. They dove straight into the deep end, Brian.
So props to the Astros. Glad it went well. And we'll be watching. And so, like I said, our calendars are busy.
Different as in good.
Yeah, I saw
just
that.
Put that back in there.
Calendar is busy. Spring sports, again, be patient with your SIDs and your sports information departments because they are overloaded. Drew knows that specifically. So basketball is still going on. Spring sports are starting. If you come across information, feel free to retweet it. My final thought, I got to give a shout out to my uncle. My uncle Cecil Taylor is a member of the 1974 Norfolk State football team. They were recognized this past weekend, along with members of the 74 and 75 teams at Norfolk State. They were that era of Norfolk State. They won 3 CIAA championships. He was actually a kicker on the 74 team, the last unbeaten conference winning team in any conference that the Norfolk State has been in, because obviously they were in the CIAA and then they moved into the MEAC.
Yeah.
But the last unbeaten conference team was the 1974 Spartans that he was a part of. They went 8-0 in the CIAA, but they honored those teams are all part of the Dick Price era. Of course, the stadium that they play in now, named after Dick Price. Those first 3 years that Dick Price came to Norfolk State, they won in conference. They were 8-0, 7-1, 7-1 in the CIAA, and I think there was only one other CIAA winning championship team post that 3-year period. So got to give my uncle Cecil Taylor a shout out and show him some love. And those Spartans, of course, my late mother and my father, who's he's a Norfolk State fan, but my late mother, that's where they met. So behold, the green and gold is still in my heart. It's a part of our family. So whenever I get a chance to give the green and gold a shout out, I definitely will do that. And so that'll do it for tonight's show. Thanks to our
Brian,
producer. Yeah.
You forgot to answer the one question. How many security guards does it take to remove a cheerleader? Let's get out of here on that note, Brian.
Apparently it takes 8. I want the name of that young lady. That's who I want to interview with. Does she still have a scholarship at Mississippi Valley State? I want some follow-up reporting to be done by somebody, anybody. And if you don't know what we're talking about, do a quick Google search, Mississippi State Valley cheerleader. That's all you got to do, and it'll pop up, I'm sure. All right, we're going to get out of here. Shout out to our producer, Roy, who's, grinding it and, on the background, making sure we get on the air. Drew, God bless you. I'm not going to put it out there, but God bless you. That's all I'm going to say to you. And Drew will tell us a story. It'll be story time with Drew next week, I'm sure. I don't know if it'll be as PG as my Rihanna story.
All I'm gonna say is, men, when you get 45 and 50, and you have to do that thing, you know what I'm talking about. Well, it's not just men. All people, when they get to that age, they have to drink that stuff and do that thing. That's why we've been taking more commercial breaks today than we normally do. And it's time for us to pick up this show. We get out of here.
Get out of here
so I can go handle that business.
I know you need to get out. So we're going to get out of here. Thanks to everybody for watching us on Facebook and on YouTube. Go find the show. Follow the streams on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And make sure you go get the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you listen and download podcasts. That's BCSN Pod Zone. All right, we're out of here. My name is Brian. That's Drew. Peace out, everybody.
Well, holla.